Right, before I do this video, I want to say that this video is like an extension of the video before this one. So whatever the video is before this one, this is like another thing that I'm adding to it. Also in that other video, this camera, it goes off when it gets hot, so I had to splice all the videos together. I put them in to the editing software that I use, which is just Movie Maker, and I put them in an order, and then when they came out all done, they were out of order. So and then two videos didn't get recorded, or not recorded, they didn't get saved, sorry. So it's all out of order, but the stuff is still there, and there's, it's just, it goes into like the first video, then to like the fourth video, then to like the second video. I don't know what, it's all out of order, but it's still there. And this is like something I wanted to throw in there, as I didn't throw in there. And that video is about testosterone boosting information that is basically, even the stuff that's good, it's just surface stuff, it's all the same. I don't think that most people that are touting it or even care about it. I really don't. I don't think most people, I'm not saying all, I'm saying most people, I think they're just saying the same stuff to get people to buy whatever they have, or whatever it may be, get people to come over to them. And I don't think anybody's really doing it. I don't think anybody's practicing any of those things, or they're not practicing all of it. They're not like all in, And some things there is, the information's what needs to be said. Some things it's wrong. I said in some other things that were wrong. Here's another one that's wrong. This one's just flat out wrong. And also, I know what they're saying. I know what they mean. I know what they're trying to say when people recite this one thing. I know what they're trying to say. But still, people take it in its literal form, it's wrong. And also, even if people don't take it completely literally, it's wrong. Especially being who it's being told to. It's being told to people who don't know, people who are on a beginner level. So, and that is for the training side, when they talk about testosterone weight training, utilizing the tools that we have of weights. They say go to failure, and that's wrong, man. That's completely wrong. Never go to failure. And look at, for bodybuilding, going to failure, that could fit in there. For powerlifting, going to failure, there's times and places for that too, in both of those. This isn't bodybuilding, this is not weight powerlifting. This is training, utilizing tools that we have that are weights to train to maximize our testosterone levels naturally, no drugs. So this is the training side. Training side, there's other sides to it. There's diet, there's lifestyle, and there's mindset, and then there's training. That is completely false. And I would say this, unless you're somebody that is going to, and even if you're somebody that wants to be in a thong, all baby oiled up on a stage, flexing your muscles for people, you still don't need to go to failure to do that. But unless you're someone who wants to do that, or unless you want to be a powerlifter, and that's you're in your programs, the times that you're going to failure, which isn't all the time, you're not going to failure every workout. If you're somebody that's just a normal person, there's really not very much. Most people shouldn't be going to failure. And if you're older, you really should consider should you be going to failure. And I know what they're saying. It doesn't mean you don't train with intensity. See, that's what they're trying to say, is intensity. That's what they're trying to say, but they always say train to failure. And train to failure with what? Train to failure because your movements. First of all, it's movements. It's movement patterns. It's not body parts. Body parts are okay for the very end if you want. Like I train body parts, but I do train body parts that help my movement patterns. Like when I do triceps, I do triceps for reasons that are going to help me out. But like my body tonight, I trained calves at the very end. Last thing I did was I trained calves because I like to train calves. I like calves. So I did like supersetted standing and seated, and there's nobody there, so I can walk over and it was great. My calves were all pumped up and all burning, and I love it. So, but I can't mess up my squat. I squat every day. I can squat 7 days a week. And and I'm not saying you don't train with intensity. I don't train to failure. I train between 70 and 80%. And I'm still my ultimate goal is to be, here's my goal. To go through my 40s, I want to get up to a 405 squat, weighing like 190 pounds ish. 405 squat 7 days a week at about 80% of what my max would be. Like a max effort to where it's like balls out. 80% of that is 405, 7 days a week, every day. That's a big goal. I want to do that throughout my 40s. That's a humongous goal. That's humongous. When I was younger, I squatted 500 pounds. I was like 250, 260 pounds, and I was in my 20s. So I want to be able to be 405 squatter in my 40s, no drugs, 190 pounds, been squatting for 30 years. I mean, that's what I want to do. I want it to be a pause squat too, and I want it to be every day. So, and I'll play with, I want to be able to do that every day. Doesn't mean I'm doing it every day. I might be squatting 385 to a little bit over 405. That's how I do it. So right now I'm 285 to 315 every single day. So I'm like a 300 pound, 7 day a week squatter. Every single day I squat. That's my first main movement. Then I have other ones, but that's my main one. Then at the very end, if I want to throw in some body part stuff, I like doing that too. But I can't mess up, like my calves, I can't mess up when I'm going to squat tomorrow. But for burning out my calves, I can't do that. I didn't burn out my calves. But what I'm saying is if I did, and I mess up my recovery for squatting tomorrow, it's stupid because now I messed up the main reason why I'm training. The main reason why I'm training. I'm not training for my calves that's not calf training isn't gonna maximize your testosterone levels naturally. Now, so that's a big part of all that. Recovery, training to failure. Besides the safety, people shouldn't be training to failure unless they're like on definitely not beginners, probably not intermediate. Maybe at the end of the intermediate, if it's, and it has to be programmed in, for a purpose, for a reason. These people are saying train to failure when it comes to training for testosterone. They're just telling people train to failure. So train to failure with every rep, every set, every time you work out. What? Train to failure what? Train to failure when you squat, train to failure when you overhead press, train to failure when you weighted dip. Really? You're gonna train to failure when you do weighted dips? Train to failure, you're gonna get hurt. Everyone will get hurt. Even the highest level. You're not training to failure doing what? Doing calves? Okay. That's safer. Train to failure doing what? Tricep extensions with the rope? Okay. You can still mess your elbows up if you're at the end of it and you're all floppy. So I know what they're saying, but they're not, they might say train to failure safely, train to failure, they'll have some way of saying it, but still, you don't train to failure. whenever there's no reason for you to. You stay away from, in my opinion, for safety, you stay away from like 90%. There's no reason to. A top level person can do that, but man, most people trying to maximize their testosterone levels don't even know how to train, and they're throwing out the train to failure thing. They do not know how to train. They don't know how to do any of those movements that are going to be testosterone maximizing. And I'm using that word a lot. But squats, overhead presses, weighted dips, pull-ups, chin-ups, anything with weighted, body weight too until you can go weighted. But even things like, well, I'll save that stuff. There's other things they can be used, but those are good ones. What I just said. There's other things. I mean, obviously, there's deadlifts and Romanian deadlifts and stiff leg deadlifts even. But that starts getting into I could throw in thrusters, even though that can start getting dangerous too if it's barbell, and then it also can't if the weight goes up. I could throw in walking lunges even with a lot of weight. Sort of. I mean that's like third. That stuff that's like third. It's down the line. It's not like your main things. Main things is like your same things, man. Those main movements are the best. And I don't say bench press because I don't bench press. I weighted dip, and I body weight dip too. But the training to failure thing. How often are these people are they trying to train? Are they trying to train like 1 or 2 days a week? Then they can get, I still would say they don't need to be going to failure, but that's not maximizing their testosterone with training. It's okay if that's all they can do. They need to be training more. They need to be training 7 days a week. We're meant to be doing things every day. We're not, everyone has a different lifestyle though. I understand that. But it's about recovery. You want to be able to progress every day in different ways. You're only gonna go so far, right? But training to failure is gonna make you have to recover more. That's not maximizing your testosterone. That's more like if you're trying to be in a sport. If you're trying to be in a sport, we're not trying to be in a sport, So they're mixing it up. They're using like bodybuilding stuff. They're using like a powerlifting, bodybuilding mentality, CrossFit mentality. They're using these different mentalities or these different things that are great. They're fine, but not for maximizing testosterone levels. No, they're not. And the training that they don't focus. They say squat, bench press. They say those main things, but people aren't really doing them. And they're not doing them. They're not doing them properly. They're not doing them the way they should be done to maximize your testosterone. They want to do these high intensity like complex things, these kettlebell type of or dumbbell type of giant SETI things, and that's fine, that's great. I like doing those things too for like conditioning. I do like thrusters for conditioning. I generally like giant set them or super set them with some type of like maybe like toes to bar and stuff like that, or some other ab stuff that I do like on the bar, like I did tonight. But I didn't do it for conditioning. I did light kettlebell thrusters for purely to just to like feel good, just to keep my shoulders feeling good. I did them at the end with some things I do on the bar for core. So I didn't do it for conditioning, but I will sometimes do them for conditioning, but I don't go to failure. That's why I don't. That's why I superset them or giant set them with something. So that's mostly for my lungs. It's not for my. It has nothing to do with testosterone maximization. It's good. It keeps you. It's good for you. It's good stuff. But that's not the focus. It's not the focus. And there's some people that that might have to be where they are, but that shouldn't be where they want to be. Because if you want to get your test levels as high, high as you've ever had them, and you're older, you got to work yourself up to the highest levels of everything: your lifestyle, your diet, your mindset, and your training. All of it. It's all. You can't just go and train balls to the wall and then don't do any of the other things either. You can't miss one of them. So, they're just kind of like just saying stuff, Nobody's doing it. People that might read it, might read something, oh yeah, okay, I've read this 500 times. Then they don't do anything. You know what I mean? You gotta be a hardcore person to actually do it. You do. That's why you're like in the 0.1% if you're gonna do it. Anyways, before this video cuts off, I'll leave it at that. I probably will do some more videos on this too.